Welcome to day 18. We will be looking at Genesis chapters 44 to 46 and Luke chapter 18 today. Joseph is continuing to play around a little bit with his brothers here. They have returned. Benjamin is there. Joseph is sending them back with food for the whole family. And Joseph is really hoping that the whole family is going to come back and settle in Egypt. Joseph would really like to see his father. Joseph plays a little trick. I mean, he is Jacob's son. There's got to be a trick all the time. He hides a chalice in Benjamin's bag, and as they're leaving, the servants are like, hey, the chalice is missing. Let us search everything. And they find it in Benjamin's bag, and the brothers are horrified because, of course, this is their greatest fear, that Benjamin is going to be taken from them, and they will have to go back to their father and say, yeah, we lost your beloved son. Now, Judah does stand up and say he's going to take care of Benjamin. Finally, everything gets resolved, and the brothers return to Jacob. Then we have this story of how God speaks to Jacob again. Now, God has given Jacob several visions. There was the staircase to heaven. There was the wrestling with the angel where Jacob's hip is injured. God is reassuring Jacob that it is okay to go to Egypt. This is part of God's plan. Everything is going to be okay, and that Joseph will be with you when you die. So the family is reunited. Jacob goes back to Egypt with the sons. They settle down there. They have plenty to eat. Joseph sees his father. They are reunited. And in many ways, this story of Joseph is now resolved. It has been brought full circle. The family is reunited and Jacob is at peace. Now, it is interesting, the very last verse of this chapter talks about how the Egyptians look down on shepherds. It's a strange little thing to throw in at the end of this peaceful resolution of family drama. But I think that perhaps the storyteller is planting the seed that things are not necessarily going to go smoothly. God may say there's a plan and that in the end the nation will be strong, but it's not going to be easy along the way. And the fact that the Egyptians don't like shepherds, and that's what Jacob's family is, gives us a warning that perhaps something is going to happen. When we turn to Luke chapter 18, we've got a poor widow who is fighting a corrupt judge who is causing injustice in the widow's life. Now, the widow is nagging and nagging and nagging and nagging. And the corrupt judge wants nothing to do with her. But eventually the judge is like, you know what? I don't care for God or people, but I am sick and tired of hearing from this woman. So I'm going to give her what she wants just to make her shut up. Jesus' point is God is better than this corrupt judge. God hears God's people, and God is going to take care of God's people. Sometimes the arc of justice takes a while, but God hears. We can keep telling God that we need help, and God will listen to us. Jesus, once again, is lifting up children as the role model for us, that we should be coming to God with the simplicity of children. We should not be smug and proud. We should not be trying to show off to the world. We should just have the love and simplicity of a child and not worry about a bunch of the details of God's kingdom. We are to come to Jesus and sit on his knee. Then we have this great story of the rich official who wants to know how to get eternal life. Jesus is like, well, are you following the laws of the Hebrew Bible and the teachings of the prophets? He's like, yeah, I do everything perfectly. And then Jesus says, okay, then give away everything and come follow me. And the guy's like, oh, okay, that's not what I had in mind, and that's more than I want to do, so move it on. I think the point here is not necessarily how much do we give away, because Jesus has lots of followers that are still wealthy, and he doesn't tell every person to give it away. The question is, what are you willing to give up for God? Is it something in your life? Is it your job? Is it your family? Is it your possessions? Is there something that you're actually holding on to that has more value to you than your faith in God. The lesson here is Jesus wants us to trust God. Jesus wants us to follow him. And whatever is in our way of our doing that, we need to be willing to let go of. Jesus then explains the death and resurrection that's going to be coming. The disciples don't understand. Now, depending on which gospel you're reading, there's a lot of times when the disciples are really clueless and don't understand what's going on. I think we should take comfort in this. The disciples that are closest to God, Jesus, that are following him every day, learning from him every day, are still having a hard time understanding everything that Jesus wants them to understand. So if we have days when we don't understand, when we are confused and are not sure what way to turn, I think we can turn to the disciples and say, you know what? We need to keep faith, we need to keep trusting, and we need to keep following. And eventually, we're going to figure this out. So keep the faith, keep following today, and we'll see you next time.